Hello and welcome to yet another video on Margin Notes presented by your mentor Vivek. Margin Notes, Episode 7, Commentary, not a summary, link in the description. Today's is by Amit Naik, published in ExpertMinds on Medium, and it is a teaching article rather than a field report. Cleanly organized worked examples, no war stories. That matters for how you weigh it, and I will come back to it. But it contains the single best phrase I have found across this entire series. He describes what an agent produces when it has no anchor. 3 sessions into a project. It builds something that is locally coherent but globally inconsistent. Sit with that, because it explains why this particular failure is so hard to catch. His opening framing is the 3-week arc, and I suspect a lot of you will recognize yourself in it. Week 1, you are amazed at how much it can do. Week 2, you start noticing the code drifting. Features that felt solid begin contradicting each other, and sessions start feeling like damage control. And by week 3, some developers conclude that these tools are not ready. Others work out that the problem was never the AI. It was the absence of structure around it. I have watched both of those conclusions get reached by people sitting next to each other. And the mechanism he gives is precise. Without a written specification, the requirements live in your head and in the chat history. The model remembers what it was told recently, but recently shrinks fast as the conversation grows. Decisions you made at the start of a session become invisible by the middle of it. And 3 sessions later, there is no anchor at all. So what you get back is locally coherent and globally inconsistent. Every individual piece reviews clean. The system quietly stops agreeing with itself. That is why you cannot catch this by reading the diff. The diff is fine. 2 more sentences in here earn their place. The first is his argument for planning before implementing. A decision on a whiteboard is easy to change. A decision in code is work. And the reason that matters is the thing just above it. When you skip the plan, the agent makes dozens of small architectural decisions silently. Where shared logic lives, how errors are handled, what things get named. Each one is locally reasonable, and together they accumulate into a code base that is harder to navigate than it ever needed to be. Nobody made a bad decision. Nobody made a decision at all. The second is the best argument for custom commands I have read, and it is not the one people usually give. The usual pitch is that it saves typing. His pitch is that a saved command can be far more thorough than anything you would type in a hurry. You will never write out your full review criteria at 5 o'clock on a Friday. You will invoke it. And his framing of the return is right. It is not the second saved per use. It is the accumulated quality difference between doing something ad hoc and doing it systematically. He puts the aspiration nicely too. By the time a new person joins, the institutional knowledge is not in somebody's head. It is in the commands folder. Now, 2 places where I would add something he does not. He proposes a review command that applies every standard your team cares about: correctness, security, performance, code quality, with a structured output. It is well built and I would use it, but put it next to what we measured on spec signals. In a study of 31,000 agentic review comments, 56% were rejected by developers, and the comments about correctness and function, which is exactly what a command like this leads with, were the ones most likely to be invalid. So be clear about what a better command buys you. It buys coverage. It does not buy reliability. You will get a longer, more complete, more consistent list, and a good portion of it will still be wrong. Treat the output as a first pass to look at, not a gate that has been passed. And the second, he is completely right that plan mode only pays off if you genuinely read the plan, and that the pressure to move fast creates a temptation to skim. His advice is resist it. But resistance is not a mechanism. It is a request made to your future self at the precise moment your future self is most rushed. In episode 3, we covered a much better answer, a keystroke that opens the plan for editing before you can approve it. Not because editing is magic, but because a step you have to physically pass through beats an instruction you are supposed to remember. If you take his practice, give it a forcing function. One more observation, and it is not a criticism so much as a label. This is a teaching article. The examples are clean and illustrative rather than drawn from a project that hurt. There is no failure story in it, no numbers, no moment where something went wrong and cost him a weekend. Compare that to the last 2 episodes, which were both field reports with scars. Both kinds are useful, but they earn your trust differently. A teaching article earns it by being clear. A field report earns it by being survived. So what do you take? Take the 5 questions because it is the most immediately usable template anybody in this series has offered. What are we building in plain language? What are the inputs and the outputs with types? What are the acceptance criteria as human readable statements of done? What are the constraints, including what is explicitly out of scope? And what are the edge cases with his line attached? Write these out before you build, not after the first bug report. That fits on an index card, and it would have caught the refund bug from episode 4. And take the split between global and project commands, which sounds administrative and is not. Your global commands encode how you personally work, your debugging habits, your review style. Your project commands encode how the team works, the deployment procedure, the testing patterns. Those are genuinely different categories. And I think mixing them is why so many shared team setups end up feeling slightly wrong to everybody on the team. Somebody's personal preferences got committed as though they were policy. So here is where I land. This is the clearest explanation in the series so far, and its lasting gift is a diagnosis. Locally coherent, globally inconsistent. That is why drift hides from code review. And once you have the phrase, you will start seeing it. Take the 5-question spec, encode your standards into commands so you apply them at 5 on a Friday rather than only when fresh, and give the read the plan discipline a force-in function, because advice alone will not survive a busy week. The full article is by Amit Naik in ExpertMinds on Medium. The link is in the description. Go and read it. If you found this useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for patient listening, and see you in the next video. Until then, peace out.